Okay, hey, Rick, thanks for joining again with this Veteran PCS resources page or YouTube page to talk through some of these topics. So today is going to be just on the VA loan, what it is, a little bit of how it works, some of the basic overviews of what a military family needs to know about the VA loan, why they should be excited about it or consider it, and maybe some of the limitations to it as well. So yeah, can you help us understand like what is this whole VA loan?
Yeah. Well, first of all, it's the best loan program on the planet. So let's just start there. But really, it's a loan that was designed and put into place after World War II, when all the veterans were coming home from their service and the government wanted to be able to get them into homes and actually say thank you for their service, and created a program that allowed them to purchase homes with no money down. So number one, that's the number one benefit of using your VA home loan benefit is typically, if you are a first-time home buyer, never used your VA benefits before, you typically can buy that home with no money down. So just to put that in comparison, most folks who are not veterans, who have never served or not active duty, when they go to purchase a home, they have to put money down, some skin in the game, to purchase a home. Whereas the military member has already put skin in the game by signing that blank check that, to serve Uncle Sam, right? So, and serve the country. So no money down. The other beautiful thing about a VA home loan is that typically on other mortgages, when you don't put money down, you're going to have something called mortgage insurance that gets tacked on to your monthly payment. And so on a VA home loan, they do not have mortgage insurance that gets tacked on to your monthly payment, even though you don't have a down payment requirement when you purchase a home. So another awesome benefit of that VA home loan benefit, because think about it, if you don't have that extra part added to your payment, you probably will qualify for more of a purchase than maybe someone who has to do that down payment, but can't quite, put enough down to avoid that mortgage insurance. So awesome benefit. I would say one of the other benefits to doing a VA home loan is that the requirements to qualify for it, as far as credit qualifying and income qualifying and debts, are much looser requirements than any other loan program out there. So in other words, the VA has specifically said in the lender's handbook that as long as the lender can justify their reason for, maybe making an exception to a guideline, or at least how they are justifying that it meets the guideline requirements, the VA will take little fault to that, because they understand that the mission is to try to get as many veterans as we can into homes. So it's a huge benefit versus many of the other loan programs are very strict. No exceptions, no deviations. You either fit into this box or you don't. So those are three of the big ones that come to mind right out of the gates when I think about the VA home loan. There's many others, but those are three big ones.
Okay, great. So how about quickly touching on, as far as using this benefit, I know that there can be some misconceptions on, credit score. Like, well, I don't know if I have a high enough credit score. I saw on some website that I had to have a 640 or something like that. What's the deal with credit score and a VA loan?
Yeah, great question. So the VA has no minimum credit score requirements. So that's not mentioned anywhere in the lender's handbook on all the guidelines that the VA uses to kind of give everybody a roadmap on how to get a VA home loan done. However, the lenders that do the VA home loan actually have their own requirements that have to be met. Some are looser than others. A typical number that I will hear is a minimum credit score of 640 or 620. Our particular group, we will go down to a 580 credit score. I think there's, a couple in the country that even go down lower than that. It doesn't mean you're automatically qualified, but it does mean that, hey, here's a starting point for where we'll start looking to see if we can get this approval done for you. And just think about it. The only reason why that's in place is the VA is it's literally just an insurance company. They're guaranteeing to any lender in the country that does a VA home loan that if in the case of a default, they'll cover 25% of that loan back to the lender. Whereas most of all the other lender programs out there don't have a guarantee that if somebody defaults, that the lender is going to get some of that money back that they loaned out. And so that's really the appeal for lenders to want to do VA home loans. And it's also designed that way on purpose, because the idea is to get as many veterans into homes as possible. So that's kind of that's that credit thing. So just because one lender tells you you're not qualified, you need this this credit score, that is their requirements. It's not necessarily what the VA requires or a different lender may require from a credit standpoint.
Got it. Okay. So how about how expensive of a house you can get? I know that was a thing in the past, that there was these max amounts for the VA home loan, for different areas around the country. What's the current status of that? Like how, if somebody wants to purchase a very expensive house or their retirement house or something like that, can they still use the VA loan? Is there any limits on that?
Yeah, great question. So I heard you say the amount or expensive of a house, or I just want to touch on two things. So there is no loan limit on a VA home loan. So whatever the lender is comfortable with loaning you up to a certain amount, whatever that may be, and as long as you qualify for that loan and you have the eligibility, then there is no cap. Now, again, we talked about credit, how some lenders have different credit criteria. I've seen lenders cap it at $1 million. I've seen them cap it at $2 million. I've seen some that did, like ourselves, we don't have a cap. As long as we feel like we're willing to take that risk and that you qualify for that mortgage, no problem. So great question. And again, the key is, though, you have to have full eligibility, which is earned through your service, time and service, and as the main kind of driver for eligibility. And you haven't used it before. If you have used it before, you have had it restored because you sold a home and now you got full eligibility again. And eligibility, we should say for a different time, there's a whole lot of caveats to that, but generally speaking, as long as you can qualify for the mortgage, there is no cap.
Great. Okay. So make sure, just with that, obviously, check out the other video that we've done on pre-approval versus pre-qualification, because if somebody thinks they're pre-qualified for a certain amount, that could be totally different than going through a pre-approval for a certain amount of home loan. And then be on the lookout for we'll do a video on the eligibility, how to read that, how to understand it, and how to know if you can continue to use your VA loan or what you need to do in order to use your VA loan again. So yeah, again, Rick, thanks. You can find Rick on veteranpcs.com. Under the Colorado page, you can get in contact with him right here, either through this link or just through the website, or just send us an email and get some questions answered. So again, Rick, thanks.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Jason.